Hello, and hope all of you are doing well. This is our NXT 2.0 live watch along. A few minutes late because we had some internet troubles going on at first, but what a show, what a start to the show. This is already looking much better than what we saw last night with Monday Night Raw. This already looks like a better show. And why wouldn't it be a better show? You've got Toxic Attraction opening the show in action as we return from the commercial break right now. Mandy Rose is looking in control, and Toxic Attraction is not just that. Toxic Attraction is all that gold. That could be their new name because, Mandy Rose, we know, is our NXT Women's Champion. You got the rest of the Toxic Attraction that also hold the NXT Tag Team Championship. So Toxic Attraction right now is all that gold. And speaking of goals, we've got a breaking news that's coming in. It just broke a few hours ago. Bray Wyatt is actually going to be producing a feature film. And this is quite a surprise because we know that Bray Wyatt was interested in Hollywood. We know that Hollywood was calling for Bray Wyatt. We know all of that. But for him to announce a feature film just a few days ahead of Full Gear, that is surprising. That really makes me wonder if Bray Wyatt is actually showing up at Full Gear or not. And I feel like had he announced a feature film 2 weeks in advance or 3 weeks in advance, I would have said that maybe he does not show up at Full Gear. But the fact that he announced his feature film just a few days ahead of Full Gear makes me really think that yes, he is showing up at Full Gear because, when you announce a feature film just a few days ahead of a pay-per-view, people start thinking that, this guy is already doing Hollywood projects, he's doing other things, he's not going to pursue wrestling, he's not going to go to AEW, he's going to do his own thing. But the timing here, just a few days ahead of AEW Full Gear, he goes on and he announces a feature film. It's obvious to me. I mean, from what I can think, is that this is just working us. We're being worked. Yes, he is working on a feature film, but we are being worked right now. I do feel like he is showing up at Full Gear. That's it. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Thank you for agreeing. Yep, I do agree. I think he will be there as well. I mean, it would make no sense for him to announce a feature film just a few days ahead. It would make zero sense. So I do feel so too. Good. I'm doing great. Bit delayed today. We had some internet issues going on, but right now I like what I'm seeing on my TV screen right now. Toxic Attraction looks to be very much in control, and Toxic Attraction, of course, is a team with all that gold. And yeah, hello everybody. Thank you for joining in. And so we had promised today that we'd be doing a side-by-side live stream of a gameplay from our PS5, but we are not going to be doing that tonight because we've got some technical issues with the internet again. So it's just going to be a typical traditional watch along of wrestling without the Spider-Man part. But who knows, maybe tomorrow or maybe next time we join in, there will be a live stream of a video game while we watch wrestling. I know that is something that people want to see, so we'll be doing that for sure, but it's all about the technical stuff that comes into play here. I think Bray will have something to do with the Dark Order. I mean, for him to be in AEW and not to do something with the Dark Order would be a missed opportunity, right? We've even seen Eric Rowan appear for one night only and still, pay tribute and, be close to the Dark Order. So Bray Wyatt being Bray Wyatt and so close to Brody, I think it will make 100% sense for him to do something with the Dark Order. It would make no sense if he does not do anything. Well, what do you think, Chris? Just like I said, this is a no-brainer. Toxic Attraction had to win this one. They have all that gold. They're very much in control. And it should not be otherwise either. They are Yep, they are the queens of NXT 2.0, if I may. And I don't understand why are people booing them. I mean, they are great. They are athletically gifted. They're dominant in the ring. They can win matches, unlike their opponents. And they win matches in any way possible by hook or crook. I think that is something we can all respect, right? Yeah, what a match though, and what a change in Mandy Rose's own development. I mean, we Mandy Rose had already been a great star. She was already a great entertainer, but by shifting gears and joining NXT 2.0, I don't know about you guys, but I have started taking her way more seriously as a wrestler and not just an entertainer. Yes, she is a good wrestler. Yes, she's always been a good wrestler, but after joining NXT 2.0, I started taking her seriously as a wrestler and not just an entertainer only. She looks great, and that is why she is the NXT Women's Champion as we speak right now, and the rest of the Toxic Attraction also with all that gold. And look who we have here, Pete Dunne. I like it. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the microphone that they're holding for the interviewer, that microphone is also very different from the traditional microphones we see on WWE programming. I mean, the other mics that we see have that huge WWE logo cover and whatnot. This one is a little toned down, a bit traditional microphone that we usually see on a lot of news channels and all that stuff. So this is I like that. I like that little touch there. You know. I think so. I think they could bring Rowan and Braun with him, and the place would go wild. Yeah, it would be crazy. It would be something similar to how what they did with Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson, and Adam Cole appearing on the same night. It was too much for the fans to handle. It was too good to be true. But yeah, it was true, and AEW does make dreams come true thanks to the money, the small loan of $1 billion that Tony Khan's father gave to him to start his company. So yeah, but let's see. We know that Tony Khan has a lot of money. He can sign whoever he wants to sign. And yeah, he could very well be signing Braun as well as Eric. But the question is, why has he not been able to sign Eric yet? What was he waiting for? Was he waiting for Bray Wyatt to join in? What was the thing? But I guess the questions will be answered come this weekend at Full Gear. Let's see what happens. So the tickets for WrestleMania, which is a two-night event, which my friend KJ put very well. He said it's a money grab. It's a money grab and nothing else. WrestleMania is going to Dallas, Texas next year for WrestleMania 38, and the tickets for it are going to go on sale day after tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, so they're going to go on sale on November 12th, Friday. Commercial break right now, and let's see what the breaking news coming in is. All right, so we did a watch along for WWE RAW yesterday, and throughout the show, we just kept talking about how lazy the booking for the show was, how the show was not planned well, how it had not filler segments but filler matches. None of the matches made any sense whatsoever. And now, breaking news coming in, we now know who was the man responsible for the show yesterday, who was the man responsible for the mess that was Monday Night Raw. And it was actually WWE Talent Relations head John Laurinaitis, who actually ran the show, ran Raw yesterday, and the show aired from Louisville, Kentucky. So it was John Laurinaitis who actually was responsible for the whole show. Weird, right? So, so what I'm reading so far is that John Laurinaitis was actually running the show, like absolutely complete control, and that's because Vince McMahon was not there. He was there early in the day, and he had a very long production meeting. And soon after the meeting, he left, and he was not there in attendance for the actual show. He left before the actual show. So yeah, John Laurinaitis was the guy responsible for the show last night, and it was a mess. It was a total mess. Why isn't there other people there for that? No, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Vince McMahon and the people that he trusts the most, and John is one of them. That's probably about it. So tonight's show NXT is also seeing the return of Pete Dunne, as we just saw. He was there in a backstage segment. This is the first time that we're seeing him since what it's November, right? November 9th now. The last time that we saw him was October 12th, so about a month. And that was the last time we saw him when he wrestled Ridge Holland, Kyle O'Reilly, and and then he was called up to the SmackDown brand. And tonight we're seeing him on NXT 2.0. Interesting, right? Like, how does somebody get called up to the SmackDown brand and then show up on NXT? So, questions. Hello, Nicole. How are you doing? Do you think HBK could run it, running NXT since Triple H been away? Yeah, and you know what? I'm enjoying NXT 2.0. I know that the viewership for NXT 2.0 is nearly not as much, as we had for NXT Gold and Black. It's not nearly as much as we get for Raw or SmackDown. Even if you look at the YouTube stats for us, we've been doing watch along for about 2 months now, right? Almost 2 months. So if you look at the YouTube stats, you know that for NXT we usually get a lower number, and that's because a lot of people just don't care. They just don't tune into NXT 2.0. But I feel like people miss out because NXT 2.0 is delivering and it has some great matches. And I feel like HBK is doing a great job at running the show. But HBK being HBK, I don't know if he would enjoy running a show like Raw or SmackDown, considering the creative control and all the powers that are into play. So I'm not sure. I think he enjoys the liberty that Triple H provides to him and NXT provides to him, which he would not get working for the main roster shows. So I don't think that it will be something that HBK himself might enjoy. But if given a chance, I would love to see NXT and the main roster shows under the control of HBK. I think he'll do a good job. All right, so Ray is wrestling, and I don't see Saray working. Even though I mean, the commentators just put over Saray, calling her a workhorse, calling her a great wrestler, all that stuff. It's pandering her. It's pretty evident. I think the commentators basically spoiled the match for me. Saray is not picking up the win. No way. Yeah, so they're really pushing the WrestleMania ticket sale. You can see breaking news: Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium, 2 nights, April 2nd and 3rd. Tickets on sale this Friday. Yeah, so they're really pushing hard, right? And it's funny because they are actually selling tickets via SeatGeek, and I feel like an old man now because I remember that back in the day, back in even 2015, 2016. it used to be Ticketmaster all the time. SeatGeek was still a new platform. I did not trust it as my ticket. As a person myself who loves, who buys tickets so often, I did not have a lot of faith in SeatGeek. I used to go to Ticketmaster all the time, but now it looks like the tides have changed and they're relying more on SeatGeek than Ticketmaster. Interesting. Hello, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And guys, if you're joining us for the first time ever, we do watch-alongs for every single wrestling show out there, every single day of the week. So if you want to see me and KJ White calling the action for you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. As KJ will also be taking over the account, he will be going live with his breakdown show where he'll be breaking down NXT 2.0, really reviewing the show for you and going over the results of it. So you don't have to watch the show in its entirety. You can just sit back, relax, enjoy the show's recap with KJ White, which is going to be live right after this very show. So we've got over 20 hours of live programming for you every single day of the week. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. We've got a lot of stuff for you guys. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So if you've already subscribed, don't hit that button. But if you haven't already, hit that button for sure. You will not regret it. Right. This match going on longer than I thought. Sarai with a roll-up pin and now going for the submission hold. So this is interesting. The last time before pandemic, WrestleMania 35, the last WrestleMania before the pandemic went on and everything went crazy, WWE actually invited Wrestling News over to cover the event. And we were there. And, it was actually, I was not even in America at that time. I was in Paris and we were flown down, no expense paid, everything. It was great. We had a great time there. We covered the event and whatnot. It was a good time. And WrestleMania 38 as well. We're trying. Let's see what happens. With COVID still being around and the vaccines and the paperwork, let's see what happens. But it's a possibility. It is a possibility. We'll keep you updated on the same. Whenever I think of WrestleMania and the pandemic, it reminds me of the interview that I did with Chad Gaspard, RIP. I mean, my brother. I really have a lot of respect for him and his family. What an incredible human being, right? So I interviewed him in the peak of the pandemic. It was unfortunately the final interview that Chad did before he left us. So this was about a month before WrestleMania 36. And, I was asking about COVID and I was asking about WrestleMania and I asked him if he would be comfortable wrestling at WrestleMania, considering that COVID is still around and whatnot. And he said that he loves wrestling, right? He loves wrestling and COVID is not going to get him. COVID's not going to get him. He's not afraid. He's going to wrestle because he loves wrestling. So this is the answer that he gave, and it just went out to show that this guy had no fear. I mean, he just loved wrestling. He had a big passion for it, and that's it. And I asked him, what does he feel about people like Roman Reigns who are not wrestling at WrestleMania, calling themselves the big dog and whatnot and not showing up at work? And he said that he still respects Roman because Roman has, he battled cancer. He has a suppressed immune system. So he understands he has a little kid of his own. So he understands his decision and he supports his decision. So a very emotional interview. I miss Shad. What a great guy. Really miss him. So that interview that we did, we have not actually released it to the public yet. Yes, it was a live interview when we did it. but we have not made it available to the public just yet. But let's see. I'm going to be talking to his family, and if suitable, if they find it appropriate, hopefully we'll be releasing that interview so you all can watch it. It was the final interview that Shat did, and just like I said, my brother, he was an absolute brother to me. All right. I feel that NXT is the best show. It's true. It's true. NXT is doing a fabulous job. I mean, from the start, you've got Toxic Attraction opening the show. When you've got Toxic Attraction, what else do you need, right? You've got backstage segments like the one we just saw, like the one with Pete Dunne. They're short, they're crisp, they're sweet, they're to the point. The action is on point. So I would agree with you. NXT 2.0 is brilliant. I like the colors. I like the presentation. I think the wrestling is good. I think it's a good show. It's a great show. And but if you want to call it the best show that's going on right now, considering ROH is out of the way too, I would suggest you tune in to Impact Wrestling on Thursday because they've got a good product too, and that is a product that is overlooked by a lot of wrestling fans. So if you're not watching Impact Wrestling, I would advise you to check it out once because that product is good. And the one thing I love about Impact is because it does not have a big viewership, it does not have a lot of commercials going on. So if you watch NXT or Raw or SmackDown, we have to deal with a lot of commercials, a lot of them. But for Impact, the commercials, they're not there. They're barely any commercials, very short. I enjoy it. And the show is great. And you've got people like Big Cass. You've got people like AEW started, Christian Cage come and go. You've got Moose, you've got Deonna Purrazzo, you've got the Iconics, aka the Inspiration. I mean, you've got them all. So try Impact once and let me know what you feel. I think this was in reference to Shad, and yeah, understand. I think NXT has been getting better, but I don't know if it's the best. Agree, Impact is so underrated. It is. It is. But Impact guys are great. They're great people, good to work with. Which reminds me, there's an Impact pay-per-view coming up, actually. Who would you like for us to interview next for Impact Wrestling? We did interview Deonna Purrazzo before her match against Mickie James at Bound for Glory. Who would you like to see us interview next for Impact's upcoming pay-per-view? Let me know, and I'll make the phone call, and we'll make that interview happen. I watch Impact and AEW. NXT is better than both. You should try MLW. It's good. All right. I'll take that suggestion. MLW, huh? All right. I'll check it out. MLW. I'll add that to my calendar so I know that it's something that I have to tune into, right? Okay, so MLW goes live on Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a live show, and then the same show is posted on YouTube, on their YouTube channel for free on the following Wednesday, is from what I understand. Hmm. Who knows? MLW seems like a good option. Thank you. Who knows? We might do a watch along for MLW one day. I mean, why not, right? So commercials, 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 and we've talked about this before. I think Morrissey could be a cool interview. Yep, and that is a good suggestion. Again, I'm gonna write it down, and I'm loving the suggestions that you guys give me because you guys are genius. I mean, I'll tell you, you guys, when you comment, it just shows that you are so brilliant. You have such great knowledge of wrestling, and it shows from your comments. I mean, I love interacting with you guys. You guys are a cool bunch. So yeah, Marcy, Big Cass, I think it would be a cool interview. I'll check it out. I'll reach out to Impact Wrestling. Let's see if we can make it happen. I'll tell you, of all the promotions that we have worked with, and we have worked with them all, we've worked with the WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, ROH. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that Impact and ROH were basically the best to work with. They were easy, they were laid back, relaxed. They just don't like to complicate things, or they're easy go lucky, happy go lucky. But with WWE, it's super complicated, and you understand why it's complicated, right? But still, WWE has loved our product, they have supported our product, and that is why we have been able to get interviews with the likes of Edge, Bobby Lashley, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Drew McIntyre, and our interviews have been covered by the likes of Fox Sports. So yeah, WWE has also been very nice. I know, where's picture in picture? And then where's KJ when we need him? He needs to start a petition, calling for the WWE to do picture in picture. And speaking of KJ, here is KJ's all-time favorite, and Braun Breaker on the screen right now, and we're getting some clips and footages and Instagram posts promoting Braun Breaker. I mean, these guys love Braun Breaker. You know it. The guy should have had his real name, but they had to change it because they like to own names, they like to own trademarks. Just weird. I'm quitting Raw. Hmm. I understand. I understand why you're saying that. Back in 2017, when Roman Reigns was still being pushed as the babyface, and they still wanted for us to love that babyface and give him a big hug and start cheering for him and not boo for him, I actually quit Raw. I said, if you want to give us Roman Reigns and if you want to show him down our throats, I'm gonna quit your show. I stopped watching Raw. I tuned into SmackDown, and that was about it. So much so that when they did the SummerSlam week in New York City, and they had SummerSlam, they had NXT Takeover, they had Raw, and they had SmackDown in the same building, Barclays Center, night after night after night for 4 consecutive nights. Because back then, SmackDown used to be on Tuesday, right? I actually skipped Raw. I went to NXT Takeover. I attended um, SummerSlam. I attended SmackDown. I skipped Raw because I would rather watch Jinder Mahal as champion rather than Roman Reigns as champion. So yeah, that's how much I used to hate Raw. But coming back to your question, I understand that you're quitting Raw and you want to replace it with some of the show. I don't know if there's some of the mainstream show that airs on Monday night, but you might have to try some indie. I don't know if they air, but yeah, something like that. But if you don't want to watch wrestling, there are a lot of good shows on Netflix that you can tune into on Monday, right? They've got some good content there, or maybe Disney Plus. Do you think that same thing will? Do you think that same thing with Roman will happen with Braun Breaker? Hmm. Yeah, it could happen. you know. I mean, WWE does love Braun Breaker, but for some reason, people just love to boo Roman Reigns. I don't know if it was a face that Roman Reigns' face basically screams heel. I don't know if it was the persona, the personality. I don't know if Roman Reigns himself felt uncomfortable being a face. That it just didn't work. But I feel like Braun Breaker with the singlet that he wears and his persona and his personality, I feel like he would do a fine job as a babyface as he does now, and I think that people would accept him more than they ever accepted Roman Reigns as a babyface. It's just my personal opinion. I think he will have no problem getting over as a babyface, even on the main show, because he just has a very energetic vibe to him, and the personality that he brings. I don't know. I think it'll go over well with the crowd. What up, David? Good to see you. All right, and the match is underway. This has been a decent match, a decent show. Now, I'll tell you what. Oh, wow, okay. Gotta stop because there's somebody. What's happening here? Okay. some drama, some theatrics. I like that. All right, this guy does not really look very intimidating. I'll tell you that. The face paint looks more messy than it looks scary. I'll just say that. But the whole lighting and the music and whatnot, that looks scary. And I like that touch. NXT 2.0 is the place where you develop new stars. You bring in new stars, you show the direction where the company is headed in. And with stars like this guy right there, and with the whole drama and the theatrics that he brings along, it goes on to show that WWE is actually embracing the theater side of professional wrestling. And I like that. Wrestling should not just be about athleticism. It should also be about showboarding. It should also be about lighting and, telling a story. And I feel like NXT 2.0 is doing a very fine job. And it goes on to show that the future is exciting. Yeah, that indeed was pretty cool, right? Kind of brought back memories from The Fiend, correct? Yeah, me neither. It was a good, refreshing thing, and that's what I'm saying. It's been about, 30, 45 minutes, and we've seen three wrestling matches so far, and that too some good matches with some good action, good outcomes. Nice stuff. We've still got plenty of time left. This should be a great show. I'm excited for the rest of the show. So, 45 minutes done, 1 hour, 15 minutes left, and we're enjoying it. We're enjoying the interaction, we're enjoying the show. That's how it should be. It should not look like a torture. Yesterday, me and KJ were just counting down our time because we wanted the show to get over with because Raw was just being so boring. And this one right here, 2 hour show, sweet and simple. It's fine. I would say that NXT 2.0, being NXT, I wouldn't even complain if this was a 1 hour show because it's still NXT, it's still a development in territory. So 1 hour, I think, is also fine. They don't really have to stretch it too. But if they want to keep it two, I'm not bad because they are able to deliver the 2 hour shows as well. And just like that, just what I said earlier with Impact, less commercials, WWE shows, way more commercials. And that's what we're getting today. We're getting a lot of commercials, a lot of them. Speaking of commercials, don't go anywhere when I go off the air because KJ White is going to be taking over with his breakdown show where he's going to be breaking down WWE NXT and he's going to be telling you guys how he felt about the show. He's going to be running through the results of the show and giving you a recap and a review of the same. So don't go anywhere as KJ brings in his magic live right after I go off the air. All right. All right, and let's see. Hmm. And time for a quick break, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere, as I'll be back in just a few seconds. Thank you so much. All right, and we're back. A little break there, and now we can see a team. I think. All right, we're seeing Diamond Mine and we're seeing Team Jacket, right? I like to call them Team Jacket. I like that name. So this is quite unpredictable. Do you see Diamond Mine winning or not? I mean, Diamond Mine has been such a dominant team, and of course, their manager is the same guy who was involved with Veer and Saurav. You know that Indian tag team that is now half of it is no longer with the WWE because of an Instagram post that they made. They spoiled the results to the NXT Great North American Bash. We know what happened there. But and because of that, they were punished for way too long. The last time we actually saw them was when they appeared for the WWE Superstar Spectacle Special, which was a Republic Day special for India. That was the last time we actually saw Saurav along with Weir, and then he got fired recently. So Veer is making his solo debut. You know, we've been seeing him tagging along with Jinder Mahal and Shanky, but very soon he's going to be making his solo debut. We saw some, videos, some teasers, yeah, regarding this solo debut, solo run, and he also is being not rebranded, but he's been given a new name. He is now known as Veer Mahan. So it's Veer Veer and Mahaan. So Veer Mahan is his name, and I was asking KJ the other day that how do you feel about a star going from a one word name to two word name, like a first name, last name, and we've seen with Veer Mahan. He said it's bad news. I mean, look at all the people who just got released. You look at Eva Marie. You look at Nia Jax. These are all people with two names, right? Two word names. That's first name, last name. So Veer Mahan getting two words. We'll have to see how it goes. But yes, so Veer is now Veer Mahan, and let's see if he's able to deliver. I think WWE is pretty high on him, and I feel like with the kind of gimmick that he's carrying with him, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but with the face paint that he has, that's not just a face paint. That is a big symbol, especially in India. It's a big symbol amongst the Hindu fan base, the Hindu community, because that face paint is not just face paint, it's a religious symbol which goes back to Lord Shiva. And if Veer is able to deliver and if they're able to push him well, I'm telling you guys, he will go viral. He will go. I mean, he'll go big. He'll spread his moves, his videos. They'll spread like wildfire in India, and he'll be able to achieve the kind of popularity in this country that Jinder Mahal could not. He'll be big. They just need to book him well. They need to capitalize on his gimmick, and he'll be big. I don't think that people realize what they have in store, what they really have the opportunity with Veer, and it's a big opportunity, big one. Do you like Roderick Strong? Look, Roderick. I mean, I don't know. I liked Roderick, and I'm saying the light with a D, and that's because I'm confused. You know, he was tagging along with Undisputed. Now he's in this world. I think he fits in better with the Diamond Mine than he did with Undisputed. Even though he was a part of it, it just felt like he was that third, fourth friend who the group did not really want to be very close friends with, but could not say no to. So I got that feeling whenever I saw him tagging along with the Undisputed Era. But I feel like with the Diamond Line, I think people appreciate him more. He's getting a better spotlight. He's getting a lot of spotlight in the Diamond Mine. That's what I feel. I think he's fine. Uh, but I still think that Roderick, being Roderick, a great performer, I still feel like he's not ready for the main roster yet. It's sad, but it's true. That's what I feel. They need to stop changing names. I agree, Chris. Absolutely. They need to stop. Once you name somebody, and that's it. That should be it. But what does it mean, though, Mahan? You know what? I'm actually curious now. Let me Google it real quick. Uh, Veer Mahan. There has to be a meaning behind the last name. Alright, so I just googled Mahan, and Mahan is supposed to be a film that's. Okay, I see. What is.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. So apparently, Mahan is a gold, a classic film, a Bollywood classic that came out in 1983. And Veer Mahan could be getting his name from that cult classic that is Mahan in Bollywood, in 1983 film. It could be either that or from what I googled, Mahan also means great in Hindi, so that could be it as well. Veer the Great. So it could be it. Oh, this guy's jacket is gone. I'm pretty sure his superpower is gone, and now he's okay. Actually, when he got his jacket removed, he got angry, and oh, wow, Roderick Strong doing Roderick Strong. I see. And Diamond Mine, of course, with the easy win, they had to win. They're a more serious tag team, a more serious faction, and for them to just pick up a loss here would have been bad for their momentum, their reputation. So of course they won. They had to win. And Roderick Strong is now being tossed around like candy, and he's angry. This big guy is angry. And I don't know, but we were just talking about WWE getting rid of performers based on the replacements that they have. They got rid of Nia Jax, from what I feel, is because they've got Dude Drop. They got rid of a lot of other stars because they've got replacements for them. Did they get rid of Keith Lee because they've got this big guy there who could be filling his shoes? I think WWE being WWE and being the stereotypical mindset that goes behind the machine, I think that could very well be the thing. I love this. The Toxic Attraction is great. Fantastic. The one thing that I love about Toxic Attraction is it's not cringe. We saw it yesterday. The Raw locker room. They had a little segment backstage where they had the entire women's division in the locker room, and let me tell you, every single female star there in that locker room was pure cringe. And I'm sorry to say this, but Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash, you talk about any star. They were all cringe, and Bianca Belair, they were dancing around, they were doing their things, for no reason whatsoever. They're backstage. Zelina Vega was there. She was waving to an empty room. Like there was nobody in front of her except for maybe the cameraman, but that was about it. And she was waving around like she's got thousands of people watching. It was cringe, and Toxic Attraction just feels real, and that's why it's a team that I can get behind. But that division on the Raw roster, I mean, all of them are cringe. Sorry, but yeah, it's true. Hmm. So Raquel wants to settle the score with Dakota Kai, and if you remember, Halloween Havoc was Raquel versus Mandy Rose, and Dakota Kai actually interfered, causing Raquel to lose the match, and that is the reason why, you could argue, but that is probably the reason why Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction currently has all the gold. Wow. Just as Dakota Kai was making a statement, she gets attacked from behind, and we've got all these referees, officials trying to separate these two women. Interesting. What a brawl! NXT 2.0 is quite a good booking. You know that they put a lot of thought into their segments, and one thing that I like about it, it's less words, it's more action. You know what they say, and what something that I really, really believe in is that whatever you say, the words that are come out of your mouth, they're wind. They're like the wind. All right. So the wind escapes your stomach, it escapes your mouth. That's about it. So the words that people say are just as good as wind. What really matters is your actions. And that is what I see in NXT 2.0. They have some promos, but they're crisp, they're short, they're simple, and they have more action. I like that. All right, so now we're getting a class on mental toughness, and that is a topic that I guess we can all talk about, right? And such an important class. I don't know why would anyone not pay attention to it. Honestly, I would love to know where to sign up to this Chase University. This is one university that we should all be a part of. We should do a crash course, a short course with Chase University because it looks like we can take a lot out of it. That's right. Not everybody deserves to be a part of Chase University, as we can see. I don't blame him. It's probably a more prestigious university than Harvard itself, right? The acceptance rate has to be very, very tough. Maybe a 1% acceptance rate. That's why they've got four people in the building. I understand. I like Cameron Grimes. Okay, fine. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Cameron Grimes. I think his face is probably one of the most punchable faces, maybe after MJF. But what really annoys me about Cameron Grimes is that he wears a suit without a shirt, and a guy who wears suits, a guy who brought this whole thing revolution with the turban and the glasses and the suit, a guy who loves his suits and his tuxedos. To see Cameron Grimes wear his suit without a shirt really annoys me, and I have OCD problems, so it really triggers my OCD. So it's hard for me to watch Cameron Grimes in that suit and not get triggered. I always get triggered. Yeah. So Cameron, if you're watching this, anybody watching this, put a shirt on Cameron. Really, he needs it. At least from what I see. I mean, he keeps winning all these lotteries. He keeps winning all this gambling. So, rather buy a shirt, right? Not that tough. All right, so we're back in commercial. And with that being said, I'm just going to go for a quick H2O break. Gotta get some water, and I'll be right back. Thank you. So we're just getting a recap from the AT&T Stadium, where with the stadium that's going to be hosting WrestleMania 37 this year, and Undertaker was there. He did some meet and greets. He met the troops. He also met the 43rd president of the USA, George W. Bush, and everybody met the Undertaker. They took photos. They shook hands. It goes on to show the icon, the pop culture icon, the Undertaker is. Even the president wants to meet him, right? So that's the impact that the Undertaker has made on generations of fans. People love the Undertaker; they just love him. All right, we're back with some urban training lessons. We just had the Chase University segment, and now on to another segment right here. Um, still, still a good show, a great show, much more enjoyable than Raw was last night. And if you missed it, the guy responsible for last night's Raw was John Laurinaitis. So if you missed that, that's what happened last night, and that's where things went wrong, right? And we are back. Okay, so Cameron Grimes is here. Yeah, way better than Raw. I agree with you, Chris. Again, he's wearing the jacket. The jacket is still fine, but when he wears a suit without the shirt, triggers my OCD. I'll tell you that. With the trousers and the jacket that he wears, no shirt, it's really bad. And who is he facing tonight? Ru Fang. I wonder if these are actually legit Chinese names, or WWE just makes them up to sound Chinese, like Ru Fang. Okay. By the way, the height and the hello. So, by the way, the height and the way that this guy's moving, Ru Feng, he looks like a promising wrestler himself. He looks like this guy can have a future, and I'd like to see how he is on the microphone, because right now, as I'm watching him, just going against Cameron Grimes, and I can tell you, he looks no less of a star than Cameron himself. He looks pretty good. He moves good in the ring. Rufang, even though he's supposed to be a jobber, right? Supposed to be a free agent, I still think he's pretty good. I like him. Actually, I think he also has a height advantage right there. Pretty nice. All right, and just like that, Cameron Grimes seems like he's going to be putting an end to this one. Rufang is going to get the loss. Obviously, as a free agent, what do you expect, right? As a talent enhancer. And just like that, Cameron Grimes put an end to the match. Pinfall 1, 2, and 3, and he's won. Short and simple, sweet match. No complaints there. I think what's more important in this match is actually what's happening post match than the match itself. Let's see what happens. Did this guy forget his lines? He's like, Cameron Grimes, and then he goes quiet for a few seconds. It's funny you asked me that, because when I was watching the recap, in my head, I don't know if you're reading my mind right now, but in my head, I was like, this finisher, I don't know. I know. The one thing that I noticed was that Ru Feng was not actually standing. He was actually on one knee when Cameron hit that finisher, which makes me feel like that kind of takes it away from the finisher. Like, he should be able to pull it off even when somebody's standing. So I agree. I don't like it either. I don't like it a lot. I think that it's very limited, restricted, and when he goes on to face bigger guys, like say guys like Brock Lesnar, that finisher, I don't know if he'll face him, but got bigger guys, I think that finisher would be hard to buy. It would be hard to buy it, especially with the larger athletes. Like with that finisher, you cannot hurt larger athletes because they're not gonna get it that hard. So yeah, it's gonna be hard to buy. Yeah, right. So Cameron Grimes just got called a filthy, rotten troll living under a bridge. Couldn't agree more. Oh, Cameron just said that he's been called a hick before because he's hairy, and I'll tell you, hairy is the new sexy. So yeah, that's probably not the reason, Cameron. It's hard. I don't know. As a guy watching the show right now, it's hard for me to actually concentrate on whatever Cameron is saying, and I don't blame his accent. I don't blame the way he's cutting his promo. I just find it hard to buy whatever he's saying. It just feels choreographed. It doesn't feel organic when he says stuff, and that's why it's hard for me to get behind Cameron. Okay, decent. Decent post match segment right there. We've got a match for next week. And so Solo, by the way, Solo, I'm such a big fan of this guy. And the main event that we're getting tonight is Grayson. It's versus Solo versus LA Knight. I mean, Grayson Waller is a great competitor. LA Knight is a serious competitor. But Solo himself is crazy good. And we've only seen him once, right? We've only seen him once on NXT. But I'm so excited to see what he's able to do tonight. And if it wasn't very obvious from his name, Solo is here for solo business. Even though he looks like his Uso brothers, he is not the Uso. He is solo. He wants to be solo. His name is Solo. So leave him alone. He's not joining the bloodline. At least not just yet. You never know what happens when he goes to the main roster. Maybe they're like, oh no, you're not Solo. You are, I don't know, Jacob Uso, or you're, something like that. Jack Uso. You never know. But at least in NXT, he's Solo. And I think that with the kind of the gift, he's very gifted, by the way. He's a good performer, entertainer. He brings a lot of eyes to the product. People pay attention when he's there. So I feel like Jacob Fatu, Solo, aka Solo, is going to be big in NXT. He's probably going to be NXT champion very, very soon. You don't like the name, Chris? I don't blame you. It's a weird name. It's like they were sitting in a boardroom and they're like, what do we name him? We can't name him Uso. We can't let him have his real name. What do we name him? And somebody's like, You know what? Since we're allowing him to have a solo run, why don't we just name him Solo? And they're like, you know what? I don't have time for this. Let's name him Solo. Let's end this meeting. I have to go home. I want to make dinner. Let's name him Solo. But forget it. That's probably what it feels like. Very rushed. Yeah, yeah. Maybe they just wanted to emphasize on the fact that he's having a solo run, which is still weird. It's still weird, but I guess it is what it is. Mandy Rose did not get named to Mandy Trio when she got moved to NXT 2.0, right? All right, so can't wait for this match to go on because this should be a very good match. You've got Waller, you've got LA Knight, you've got Solo. Tonight could be the night when Solo proves himself as a performer, proves himself that he can go and hang with the NXT's greatest stars. Let's see. Let's see how it turns out. But I'm excited for this one, and I can't wait for the commercials to get over. Just like I said, cheap plug for Impact Wrestling again, but Impact Wrestling has lower viewership in comparison to the WWE shows, and that's why they don't have a lot of advertisements, not a lot of commercials between their shows. So check out Impact Wrestling if you don't like commercials. It's almost commercial free, and they've got very short commercials, crisp commercials, and they've got a good product. So check out Impact Wrestling if you can. Good show. Oh dear, finished these commercials already. Can't wait. And what about the NXT 2.0 set, the whole stage? Has it grown on you? Because it has certainly grown on me. The first night was weird. I felt like maybe they did some enhancements after the first week. The second week started looking better, and now it just looks good. I think the whole arena has grown on me. I like the look, like the feel. The whole thing oozes Braun Breaker. The singlet that Braun Breaker wears, the energy that he carries. I think it reflects on the NXT brand overall. I feel like it's great, and the arena, the colors, I like them all. I like them. So, whenever I dress for these watch alongs, for Raw I'm wearing red, for SmackDown I'm wearing blue, for AEW I'm wearing yellow, gold, and for NXT, whenever I have to choose a color, I'm like, I don't know, because NXT is just so colorful. You've got blue, you've got purple, you've got pink, green, blue, navy blue, gold, and orange. I don't know what to wear. So literally, I just close my eyes, I do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and I pick whatever color comes in my hand. So today was blue. So let's see what's gonna be next week. But I like the jokes aside, I like the diversity that NXT 2.0 brings with it. Like it, love it. All right, so Solo is bring out the Ultimate Warrior gear. I like that comment. Yeah, yep, you're right. And Solo, by the way, he probably does not want to be very solo after looking at this teamwork, the double team against himself. But he looks, if you look at Solo and if you look at all these two competitors in the ring, Solo looks more dominating. He looks bigger. He looks more focused too, by the way. He looks angry. And, yeah, just hitting down with the punches. Big elbows to the face. Solo is pulling Alien Knight by his hair and just drags him into the ring, tosses him to the ring now. Wow. Yeah, Waller probably regrets not double teaming with LA Knight now. I think Solo pretty much has the match in control already. He did from the very first minute of the match. I think he's fine. I think it's pretty evident that Solo is going to win. We knew it already, and we can now see it. There's no reason why he would lose this match. This is only his second match on the brand. second match for WWE, so he has no reason not to win this one. And if you guys weren't aware, he Solo was a part of the recent Performance Center class of athletes, and out of those, I think he's the only one who actually got up to the NXT shows so fast, and he deserves to be. But it's interesting. It shows that WWE really has a lot of trust in his athleticism, in his capabilities, in his skills as a professional wrestler. Yeah, the double teaming is still on against Solo. I think yeah, I think he doesn't want to be very, very solo after this one. He's feeling the effects of the double team, right? And LA Knight, okay, now he probably wants to be solo because you're seeing some conflict between this temporary team, and which gives Solo some time to recover, some time to recoup. And now they both are going for the superplex from the top rope at the same time. Solo gets off, and now with a double power bomb to both LA and Waller. Solo is great. What do you think of LA Knight? I think he's good. I like this guy. I like the personality. Charismatic too. I like this guy. No complaints. No complaints. I really liked him in Impact. Yep, he's good. Solo is ready to go. Look at him. And Solo, I believe, had a good time in MLW as well. Somebody pointed this out earlier that MLW is a show that people should be watching. And you know what? I feel like after that comment, I like giving people what they want. And if people like MLW, I feel like it's my duty to give them what they want, right? We're gonna do a watch along for MLW this Saturday. It's gonna be a live watch along. We're gonna be watching the show. We're gonna be doing a watch along reaction video to it live as it goes on the air at 10 p.m. Eastern in America as well as Canada. And we're going to be doing a watch along for MLW starting this weekend, starting Saturday. Let's see how the show goes. Solo basically belly suplexes Waller out of the ring, and that just shows his strength. He goes for the big dive to Ellen Knight from the top turnbuckle, goes for the pin, and Ellen Knight was not able to kick out. I'm surprised. I thought this match would go longer. But the result does not really surprise me. This guy deserved to win, and he did win. Solo is now here to reign supreme. He is here to show why he can go solo. I know I've said the word solo like a billion times already, but yeah, Solo can go. He's doing a good job. He won his second match on the show. He holds a record 2.240. It's NXT 2.0, and he holds a record of 240 in the WWE. He has wrestled two matches, out of which he has won two matches and lost none. So Solo can go. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, look at that guy. Incredible. So India and Persia, of course, they both wanted to be NXT Tag Team Champions, but Toxic Attraction, being the incredibly attractive team that they are, toxically attracted, maybe I should say, they got all the gold. Oh, Tony's here. And when we did the watch along for Halloween Havoc and we did with KJ did not have a lot of good things to say about Tony when we got a little video for him. He said that he's seen this gimmick time and time again. It's the same old thing. But I was actually excited for Tony. And I see him right now. It kind of reminds me of the old school heels, the ones that we had back in the day. Kind of reminds me of that. Wow. So this guy basically gives a dead fish to Indy and asks her to give it to Dexter. So disgusting for sure. All right, so Jennifer Lopez's cousin, Electra Lopez, is in action up next, and I'm joking. She's not really Jennifer Lopez's cousin, but she does, the way she walks, talks, looks like it. Looks like she might just be, Even her name, they share the same last name, so who knows, right? And if you're just tuning in for the first time, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you are a regular viewer of wrestling news on YouTube, make sure to share this live stream with your friends and have them join as well, because you know that the product is good. You know it deserves more eyes. So help us grow. Make sure to share and subscribe. And yeah, let's grow together right here on YouTube. Commercials. The one thing that nobody likes, right? Nobody likes commercials, and we get a lot of commercials. So why do we have to sit and watch commercials? Let's talk wrestling. Let's talk about some more news that's coming up or has come up in the past day. Let's see. Just a second. So, by the way, guys, if you weren't aware, ROH has released all of its roster, its entire roster, but that does not mean that it's done for. ROH is still having its TV shows being aired. I think that they have no meaning to them right now because we know what's happening with the brand. We know that it's all come to an end, so it's weird. But the shows are still running. They were pre-taped and they're still running. But it's weird. I can't watch the show. So that's one show that I would never do a watch along for because we know what happened with all the roster. They got all released. So yeah, that's definitely one thing that bothers me. Okay, so tonight's AEW Dark actually features the AEW debut of Miranda Gordy, and she is the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Terry Gordy. And Terry Gordy, if you remember, he was a member of the Fabulous Freebirds. So Miranda Gordy made her AEW debut on tonight's episode of AEW Dark. And ROH, just like KJ mentioned yesterday, they've got a lot of talent. They're hungry. They want to be on various shows. They want the same success that they got from ROH. They were given a lot of promises which are not delivered. So of course, I wish them the best. But let's see. I don't know. Honestly, don't know because I feel like the way and WWE is running right now, they want to build their own stars. They don't really want independent guys. They don't want stars that have been used and dusted, right? They want their own thing. They want to create their own stars. So I don't know. Let's see. But I feel bad for Maria because I don't know if you have checked it, guys. Wait a second. You know what? Since we're talking about it, this is one interview if you haven't checked it already. And I'm not saying it because it's an interview that I did. I'm saying it because this is an interview which is very, very important, and people should be watching it and talking about it because this is a very moving interview, and it's moving due to the fact that it shows the struggles of a WWE superstar while they're in the WWE. So this was an exclusive interview and I'm going to leave the link in the comments right here for you guys to see. This is an exclusive interview that we did with Maria Kanellis. You guys must watch it after the show. after Cage's shows tonight, where she talks about candidly. It was a shoot interview, and she very candidly talks about everything. She talks about her time in the WWE, the struggles, the paycheck, uh, the way that she got treated when she announced her pregnancy, every single thing. And she really breaks down. She breaks into tears. It was hard for me to watch her struggle like that. So, guys, if you haven't already, check out this interview. This needs more attention. This needs to be talked about. This is one of the most candid shoot interviews that I've ever done, and it is with an all-time great. It is with former ROH talent and EVP, a advocate for women's professional wrestling right now, Maria Kanellis. Make sure to check it out. Solo used to be Seifa Fatu in the Indies. He's really talented. Yes, yes, Solo, Seifa Fatu, he's a good friend. So we do chat once in a while. We used to chat a lot when he was in the Indies. Good guy, great guy. I can't wait for him to succeed. Very talented, of course. And he has a good heart. A man with a good heart, good personality. Great guy indeed. The problem with indie wrestlers is most of them don't wrestle safely and properly. Plus, there's selling is also bad, but there are a lot of exceptions. You're right. You know, uh, with the independent wrestlers and the safety that you talk about, it's right. It's true. Independent wrestlers. Uh, the thing is that they want attention, they want to be out there, and that's why they don't really concentrate on their safety. They just want to perform, they want to deliver, they want to bring more eyes to the product, they want to bring more eyes to themselves, and that's why they keep their safety aside, and they do everything that they can to really be successful. So respect to them. They struggle. It's not a very easy thing to be an independent wrestler. You don't get paid. It's very tough money, and only a few of them succeed. Only a few of them make it to the main roster, make it to the big leagues. So you got to respect them. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. And I would just like to bring something to the notice here. Okay, so wait. So I would just like to bring something to everybody's attention. Uh, we just got a comment which seemed directed towards their religion and whatnot. And I would just like to say that this is 2021, right? It's time to embrace all religions. It's time to embrace people of all backgrounds, cultures, sexual orientation, nationalities, everything. So let's be more open minded. Let's not be xenophobic. Let's not have hatred for other people. All right. So yeah, and the reason, by the way, why I started our podcast, the Wrassing Show, right here, you see on the cup, is because I wanted to create a safe haven for people of all backgrounds, right? Because when you have a turban on, you have a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility, and you're representing everybody, and you're standing up for everybody. And when a guy with a turban is interviewing stars like Charlotte Flair, or he's interviewing stars like Bobby Lashley, Edge, he's making a statement. He's making a statement for the entire wrestling community that this is not a place for just a group of people, a group of individuals. This is a place open for everybody out there, no matter who you are, no matter what background you belong to, and that is the story behind Wrestling Show. It is a say it creates a safe haven for everybody. It represents everybody. So no matter who you are, your background, if you have a passion for wrestling, you can be representing wrestling. You can be the torchbearer, and you can do great things in this business. And that is the whole objective behind our podcast, The Wrassing Show, behind the logo of The Wrassing Show, And I'm very proud to be a part of this journey and really getting out there with all of you guys. So thank you for being a part of this journey. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and get us to 500 subscribers. I know you guys can do it. By the way, tonight's NXT has been so good. Yesterday, I mean, the show was horrible. But tonight's show has been great, and with the interaction that I'm getting to have with all of you guys, really appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. Good times. And we are now in the final 20 minutes of the show. It should be a good show. I mean, it's been a good match. Should be a good main event as well. Let's see what it's all going to be all about. And I'm getting a commercial on my screen right now for War Games. So you know what's happening next. War Games is live on Sunday, December 5th. And as always, we're going to be covering it live. We're going to be doing a watch along for NXT War Games. So make sure to tune in. People love War Games, don't they? I love Wade Barrett. I love his commentary. I think he fits very well with NXT 2.0. But can I just say this? I miss Wade Barrett in the ring. I loved Nexus. I was a big Nexus fan. I loved the t-shirt. I loved the merch. I loved the entrance music. I loved everything about Nexus. So I miss Wade Barrett as an in-ring performer a lot. I really miss it. Will we see Wade Barrett performing wrestling in the ring again? I sure do hope so. But I don't know when, but I sure do hope so. What do you guys think? Do you miss Wade Barrett, the wrestler? Let me know. And look who's here. After a month away, he is here and he's here to wrestle. He's not just here to talk, he's here to wrestle. It's got to be Pete Dunne versus Carmelo up next, and this should be the main event of the night. And a 20-minute time on the clock, wow. 20 minutes on the clock, Pete Dunne, Carmelo, these two could create some magic together. Excited for this one. Well said. Love watching your shows. No need for any of that. Wrestling brings people together. Exactly, right? So wrestling does bring people together. I mean, you can be sitting in any corner of the world and you could be enjoying wrestling and you could have a lot in common with somebody in the other corner of the world. That's what wrestling is all about. It unites people. I love that. No matter you're from America, you're from Canada, you're from Europe, France, or you're from Saudi Arabia or India or China, you could all love wrestling. And that's what wrestling is all about. You have some bad news for me. What is that? Okay, all right. Okay, I got it. Bad news, Barrett. All right, yep. I know. I miss that guy. Miss him. Yeah, Wade Barrett, the wrestler, a lot. But yeah, just like to the point of wrestling bringing people together. You look at Super Bowl, right? A lot of people love to compare Super Bowl to WrestleMania. They say that WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. But I'll tell you what, Super Bowl is not that big of a deal. And you might hate me for saying the truth, but it's true. Yes, Super Bowl is big in America. The day after Super Bowl, everybody's talking about it. They don't ask you, you're sitting in your office, you're sitting at work. They don't ask you, hey, did you watch Super Bowl last night? They don't do that. What people ask you is, hey, did you watch it? Did you like it? Right? They call it because it's so obvious that if you're in America, you tuned in, you watch Super Bowl, you consume that product. So in America, people might think that, hey, it's okay to call WrestleMania the Super Bowl of wrestling, but I feel like it should be the way around. It should be Super Bowl should be called the WrestleMania of football. And that is because Super Bowl is so restricted and limited to just the land of America. Outside of America, who cares about Super Bowl, right? Who consumes American wrestling? Very, very, very few people do. WrestleMania, though, consumed all across the globe. Thousands, millions of people watch WrestleMania live. They stay up all night, in different parts of the world They watch it live. That's what WrestleMania is all about. And you know what? They do it without the Bruno Mars, without the Shakira, without the Jennifer Lopez, the Justin Timberlake, and you name any star, you name the Weekend. They do it all without them. They don't need any halftime show to bring more eyes to the product. All they need is a cult classic. All they need is a Brock Lesnar, is a John Cena, is a Randy Orton, is a Mandy Rose. All they need are their wrestlers, and that's about it. They don't need Shakiras or Weekends, just wrestling. And that's why I say that WrestleMania is a bigger deal than Super Bowl. So, WrestleMania is a Super Bowl of wrestling? No. Super Bowl is the WrestleMania of football, should be the new phrase. Sometimes I don't understand the things that I say because they sound so good. I just don't understand why am I not doing TED Talks for wrestling already? TED Talks, sign me up. Let me have, uh, you know, let's do a TED Talk on wrestling one day. I get it. We're WrestleMania 38 tickets are gonna go on sale November 12th, this Friday. We've seen it so many times. We've heard about it so many times, but I'm just getting a little tired of it already. But seeing Steve Austin, being in Texas and seeing Steve Austin, it's pretty obvious that Steve Austin is gonna be making some kind of appearance at WrestleMania 38, along with The Undertaker. The Undertaker was doing promotional work. He met the 43rd president of the United States of America, George W. Bush, as well, in Texas this past week. So it's obvious. Both The Undertaker and Steve Austin are going to be at WrestleMania 38 in some capacity, are going to be making appearances. Should be a great show. Can't wait. And it's not just WrestleMania 38 that's going to be an amazing show. I'm so excited for WrestleMania 39, which will be taking place in Hollywood, and excited to see how does WWE capitalize on the fact that so many of their stars are Hollywood stars now, right? You talk about Dave Batista, The Rock, John Cena, even Bray Wyatt now, right? So you've got a lot of that going on. Good stuff. All right, so Carmelo Hayes is now making his way to the ring, and he's going to be wrestling Pete Dunne. Should be a great match. Excited. So I said before the match started, I said it's going to be a 20 minutes long match, but WWE being WWE and the amount of commercials that they get, it's not going to be a 20 minutes match anymore. So after the first entrance, we did have 20 minutes left, but now we only have 14, which I'm pretty sure after this elaborate entrance is going to go down to 10 minutes. So this is probably going to be a 10 minutes match. Yeah, nothing too crazy. The Rock showing up. What do you want to see Rock versus Roman? This is the question that people ask all the time. And, Chris, first of all, I must say, really appreciate all the interaction. Thank you for, tuning in tonight. It's great talking to you. You should be on the show sometime. You're very intellectual wrestling, very knowledgeable. So yeah, Rock versus Roman. I feel like so this is what Rock best. First of all, let me talk about what Rock said. In a recent interview, Rock said that all the rumors are false. This is not even set in place, has not even been talked about. I'm not facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I do stay in touch with both Roman Reigns and the Usos. I stay in touch with my family. I'm very proud of what they're doing. We'll see what happens in the future, but this is not a match that's set in place. We've not talked about it. It's not true. All the rumors are false. He's denied all the reports. What I feel is that Rock versus Roman Reigns is probably the worst kept secret of wrestling. It's probably just as likely. Rock wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39, I feel is just as likely as Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showing up in Spider-Man No Way Home, because we know it's going to happen. We know both Andrew as well as Tobey are going to be making appearances. Both Spider-Man are going to be coming to the aid of this Iron Spider-Man kid. Spider Kid. Can I call him Spider Kid? Yeah. I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like Andrew and Toby are gonna show up, and I feel like Rock versus Roman is gonna happen. It's not gonna happen next year. It's gonna happen in 2 years' time in Hollywood. And you know what? With the amount of momentum that Roman Reigns is carrying on his shoulders right now, on his back right now, the fire, the passion, the huge draw that Roman Reigns is, I will not be surprised if Roman Reigns heads into that match at WrestleMania 39 2 years from now, still the Universal Champion. I would not be surprised. Not at all. And I do expect for Roman Reigns to be drafted to Monday Night Raw the year after. So I do expect for him to get drafted to Raw in the next draft pick and then headline WrestleMania 39 as the Raw, as a WWE champion, not the Universal Champion, as a WWE champion, and fight The Rock for the title. I think it's just gonna happen. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Alright, so Pete Dunne. Alright, so we are currently at 477 subscribers. Incredible, right? So help us grow, help us get to 500. And it's a mini milestone that we have set in place. I have a milestone of a few 100,000, but help us get to 500 and then 1,000 so we can grow together. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, share this channel with your friends, ask them to subscribe. Will be really appreciative. Thank you. And look who's here, Dexter. And Dexter is joining the commentary table. Is he gonna have something to speak? I don't think so. But still, regardless of that, he has put on the headset. I think he's here to listen. He's here to observe, to watch, not talk. He's a man of very few words. Let's see what Dexter says tonight. And just like that, back to commercial. Of course, back to commercial. Thank you. Got to be here. Great show, like always. Fun to watch with like-minded people. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Love the kind feedback. Commercials, commercials, commercials. So many commercials, I must say. So we have 9 minutes on the clock. This has to be, hopefully, the final commercial of the night. I think it's going to be a very short show after this very short match. It's going to be a quick ending because we've already got Dexter ringside. And with Dexter being ringside, I don't even know if it's going to be a clean ending. Maybe he will interfere and will end in a disqualification. But Dexter is there, so something is bound to happen, right? It's bound to happen. But also, we've got the guy who gave him the dead fish. So let's see. Let's see. It's going to be interesting. Commercials, commercials, commercials. And speaking of controversy and, WWE, I want to talk about Booker T. Because Booker T is a guy that people call him the company's guy, the yes man. He will say whatever is in favor of the WWE. He will say whatever is good for the company. He'll always advocate for the WWE. We know that. But during his recent podcast episode, Booker T said that he actually never wanted to be a part of the WWE. What? So he says that he never wanted to join the WWE. He wanted to be in WCW forever. And it surprises me that he said that, but I guess he is free to say that because he's a Hall of Famer now. He's done everything he could in a wrestling ring. And now he can say whatever, and especially with WWE not WCW not even being competition anymore, it's gone. I think he can say whatever because WCW is not going to benefit from that. It's a part of the WWE, and WWE has all to benefit. So I like Booker T and how clever he is with the podcast. Like, he makes statements like these that really get picked up as news and really gets out there. Otherwise, his podcast is pretty much trash. Shouldn't breaking the fourth wall, baby. But Yeah, just my opinion. His podcast is definitely overrated. But gotta appreciate all the work that people really put in when it comes to podcasting because it's not an easy job. It's hard. The one podcast that I happily and always skip, actually two podcasts that I skip with all my heart. First one is Talk is Jericho. I usually skip it. It's a good podcast. I like it. I've enjoyed a few shows, but I skip it. And Talk is Jericho is one, and the second is Oral Sessions. I feel like both of these podcasts have a lot of not actually. I would not say this about Talk is Jericho because he does have some good guests, and the podcast has been running for a while. Good show. The intro is pretty solid. The presentation is good. So maybe I should not say this about Talk is Jericho, but I will say it about Oral Session. I mean, Oral Sessions is built upon hate, built upon the hatred for the WWE. That's all it is all about. They bring people in from different companies, talk trash about WWE, and that's about it. So, Oral Sessions is one podcast that I skip, skip, and skip, and I will continue to skip because it's built upon hate and cheap hate, cheap controversy. So, not a fan of Oral Sessions at all. Yeah, yes, I have decent podcasts. Can't say anything against it. Bruce Pritchard is a I mean, he's a mastermind when it comes to wrestling, so I appreciate his insights. So I have nothing against it. What do you think? Do you enjoy that podcast with Bruce Pritchard? What about this podcast? I believe it's called Keeping It 100 with Conan. Conan, a legend in wrestling himself. Have you ever checked that podcast out? Because it was recommended to me by a friend not too long ago, and I still have to check it out. But let me know if you have actually tuned in to Keeping It 100 with Conan. It's supposedly a good podcast. I haven't checked it yet, but it's something that I'm planning on tuning into when the time allows. All right, so Pete Dunne is, I feel like, going for this. Okay. Wow, that was a very near fall, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, so gotta. It's been a good show. I mean, all the matches have been so good. Even the last match, I'm surprised at how good. Keeping in mind how less of a time that they had allowed for this match, less than 10 minutes, but these people have delivered, and the way that they're selling each move, they've just got 2 minutes left on the clock, and this match has been so good. The fans are loving it. The fans are loving the action. I like it sometimes. Okay, it's the Bruce Pritchard podcast. You like it sometimes. I find when he talks to everybody, it's a lot of non-answers or bad answers. You know what? I can agree with that. I agree with that. Yep. Company guy, right? And never heard of Conan's. Yeah, keeping it 100 with Conan. I think that's something that I'm gonna tune into. Check it out once in a while. See what the hype is about. Thank you. All right. So I think we have less than a minute left on the clock now. This should be a quick ending. Pete Dunne is slowly regaining control, which only means that Pete Dunne is going to be picking the win. All right, so Pete Dunne is actually struggling now. No, he's not. All right, with an incredible suplex. And yeah, that could have ended in a disqualification, but thanks to Pete Dunne's quickness, it did not. And I think he's going for the finisher with the reversal and guides Pete Dunne to the middle rope. And now I have a feeling that it's going to end in a disqualification. Or maybe not. Dexter with the little save there. What's going on here? Somebody was there under the ring. It was not Hornswoggle, by the way. The hands were much bigger. So not Hornswoggle, but somebody was there under the win who did not want these guys to win. And thanks to his distraction, Pete Dunne has picked up the win. And the referee raises his arm, and just like that, the bruiserweight, Pete Dunne, closes the show. Okay, Gargano was there. Good question. And I actually have a cross question. I won't have an answer. I'll have a cross question for you. Do you see Gargano ever getting called up? I don't know. Because these two seems like they're going to be in NXT forever, right? It's weird. But let's see. Let's see. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And NXT 2.0 is now going off the air, and so are we. But that does not mean that we're going off the air. We're going to be coming right back in less than a minute as KJ White returns with his breakdown show where he's going to be breaking down NXT 2.0, going over the results from the show and reviewing it for you. So don't go anywhere. Sit tight as KJ White takes over in less than a minute. Thank you so much, guys. Pleasure calling the action with you all, interacting with you. Thanks, Chris. Take care, and I'll see you, as KJ likes to say, on the flip side. Thank you.